Okay, so today we're taking a look at Valkyrie Elysium. Now, this game is one of the few smaller titles from Square Enix this year, and at first glance, due to its graphics, it's easy to dismiss it because of the full price tag. After having finished it, though, and completing pretty much everything that the game has to offer, I really enjoy my time with it, and I do admit it is definitely a budget game coming from Square Enix that not everyone will find it worth paying full price for. Now, if you want to know more about the technical side of the PC port, I made a video for that and I will link it now. Alright, so it took me 21 hours to complete the main campaign. A couple more hours to complete the Hill Days Vengeance mode, which released along with the PC launch. And I have not yet beat the 24 Coliseum mode, but I imagine it will take a couple dozen tries to accomplish. I will get into these two modes a bit later in the video. So the game basically starts you out with being tasked by Odin to retrieve a few artifacts to help Odin regain his full power after being injured in a scuffle with another god named Fenrir. Along your journey, you will meet with four companions that excel at one elemental type. It's these elemental type that makes the combat engaging because you will use them to counter the enemy weakness. Eventually, when you get to the point that you get three of these companions, combat becomes even more intense and hectic, but in a fun way. You also have an assortment of spells ranging from tier 1 through 3. However, there are only 10 or 12 spells available in the game, and 7 or so weapon types. You can rank up to max level 10. With each level that you rank up the weapons, you unlock more moves. However, the movesets are the same across all the weapon types, but their animation are all different. So that could either be a good or a bad thing depending on you as a player. If you are someone that's wanting the combat system to be a bit more complicated, you won't find it in this game. It's a pretty easy pick up and play combat system. And speaking of combat, it's the game's greatest strength, followed by the music and the voice acting. It's like they just plucked the voice actor from Final Fantasy 14 and just kind of put them in the game, at least for the main cast. Great battle theme accompany the fun combat, and that main theme, wow, will melt anyone's soul. Alright, so going back to the combat, I did mention it's the stronger aspect of this game. However, the boss battles are not that interesting and fun as the trash mob that leads up to the big fight. They can easily be taken down with spells that they are weak to and can be stunned once you fill up their weakness meter, giving you plenty of time to wall up on them. And they never really call in ads to beef up the challenge. Alright, so let's move on to the skill tree. The skill tree is actually pretty basic. There's really only one way to go down on the tree. You can unlock them all by the end of the game across the attack, defense, and support tree. I felt like the skill tree was just put in there to gate your progress as opposed to being a proper skill tree. You have to pick and choose which skill you can equip. Every skill has a CP cost associated with it, and you can't exceed the total max CP. However, the game gives you so much max CP that I never even hit the ceiling until at the very end of the game. So I never saw the point of this system, and it wasn't balanced very well by the developer. So I mentioned in the beginning, once you beat the game, two mode opens up. The first is Hilda's Vengeance. You basically just play as Hilda that you meet in the game a few times, and the objective is just to get through the trash mob and defeat the boss at the end of every level, and then you move on to the next. It's a bit disappointing because it really doesn't. It's not really a story mode, and there's only one very short reveal cinematic at the end. Now, she does have different animation to Valkyrie, and her allies that you summon consist of the same elemental type. It took me a couple hours to run through this mode. Now, the second mode is the Sapphiric Gate. Now, this is basically the 24 predetermined weapons, spells, and items you get on each floor, and it can be a bit of a challenge. It's not randomized, so you will always know what you're getting into with each retries. However, when you die, you do have to restart from floor 1 again, so it does add a bit more playtime if you're into this type of game mode. Overall, as I mentioned, I enjoy my time with this game. I found myself booting up this game more often among the other higher budget release as of late. The combat does carry this game a lot, and I do recommend looking into it when it does go on sale if you haven't already picked it up by now. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Victory is within your grasp.
Let us continue to cleanse the world.